another exciting adventure of The Plain Truth. I'm your host. Welcome back to another exciting adventure of Piensamientos de Viejo. I'm your host, Travis Finley. Hello, hello, hello. What ho? I am in Virginia, heading south on 95. I was just cruising and listening to Tool, Pink Floyd, and just spacing out. So I thought that I would maybe just jump on here and talk about existence. Talk about other things, maybe you'll find it interesting. Hopefully my audio is okay. Check it when someone comes in, when someone shows up maybe for the first time. But that dark side of the moon is really interesting. I started the opening track over and over and over again the past hour or so because the lyrics were just so unclear to me, so I had to listen to them over and over again, and I still don't have all of them down, but it's just basically, it's talking about a person who is just existing, and all you see and all you touch and is all you'll ever be. All you touch and all you see is all you'll ever be, or something like that. It's just like thinking of the I guess the footprint or the impact, that a person will leave. You think of how big the world is. Like what is going to be your, you know what I mean? Like who's going to remember you? Who's going to remember me? You know what I mean? And and then it goes into run, rabbit, run, dig a hole. I think it says something like it was chasing the sun, like the rabbits dig holes because they're trying to catch up to the sun. And then, it talks about when the working day is done. When the working day is done, it's time to dig another one. Whether I took that to mean, I wonder what this traffic is crazy for, man. That was just, whoa, that's what it was for. What the heck happened there? Yeah, something fell off a trailer, I guess. These guys are shitting bricks right now, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Those guys. All right, well. Just hey, we got 3 Smurfs watching. Can you guys hear me? Can I get a response on the audio, please? I don't see anyone responding about the audio. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, hit those Fonzarellis, you Smurf and Smurfs. You Smurf and Smurfs know what does Smurfing do when you 5x5 FE Nation. What's going on, man? I am on my way down to South Carolina way to hang out with some open-minded individuals. Got lots planned. The man of the century, Tommy, is just amazing. That flat fellow on YouTube's That Flat Fellow. That Flat Fellow. That Flat Fellow. He's got a farm, and the dude is creating a flat stock. And oh man, there's gonna be karaoke, so I'm gonna be jamming out some of my I don't know how long the karaoke session's gonna be, if it's just one night or whatever, I've got to be selective, right? Because I'm only going to have one or two shots to leave an impression. But I do have some fantastic lyricism for parodies from songs by the Foo Fighters, Radiohead, Bruce Springsteen, Supertramp, Pearl Jam, Audio Slave, Leonard Cohen, Tears for Fears, Fleetwood Mac. Like, I've written parodies in those styles, and the lyrics are just absolutely fantastic. If I do say so myself, and we only have one thumbs up, so there's 4 Smurfs watching. What the Smurf is wrong with you guys? Hit the Smurfing Fonzarelli. Smurfing, smash that like. That's how this content is going to get attention. Right? If you're here listening to the sultry sound of my voice, then somebody else that you know certainly would like to sit around and listen to the sultry sound of my voice along with you, and then you guys can chat. Because after all, that's what you're here for. Yeah, you're not here to listen to everything I say. You're going to jump in the chat and start chatting away. Right? All right, so we got a Smurf down, but we still have only 1 like, and we have more watchers than we have a like. So let's get it at a going. All right, but I'm of the mind, right? I'm of the mind. Why do we attribute metaphysical principles to things like mind or spirit or heart, soul, mind, spirit, soul? We give. So think about this. What is a soul? What is a spirit? And why do we give them existence in the metaphysical world? Like, I have never seen my spirit. I've never seen my soul, right? But think about the other ways that the ancients described humanity by talking about heart, mind, insides, innards, kidneys, right? They used those physiological references. He felt it in his kidneys. He felt it in his gut. He loved her with all of it. Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, soul, mind, strength. So is strength a metaphysical entity? Why is soul a metaphysical entity, but strength isn't? Or heart? You get what I'm saying? Like, why did they, what's the word? Capriciously, right? Why did they capriciously just choose to metamorphosize and metaphysicalize soul and spirit when that's not even what the word means? There's still only 1 freaking like. What's the matter with you Smurfs? If you're sitting here listening to me pontificate about Greek words, hit that Fonzarelli. Give me a like. Jump in here and start talking to each other. And then share the content, right? Share this content. YouTube's not going to share my content. You have to do it. I can't do this without you. I can't do this without you. So the word pneuma in Greek is translated 3 different ways: spirit, breath, and wind. 2 of those things are physical. 1 is not. So then I'm going to cast out the one that's not, because which of these things is not like the other? Spirit is not like breath and wind, because breath and wind are almost synonymous. I have breath in my mouth as I exhale, and then there's external to my body, I feel the flow and the motion of the air. You get that idea? Because I believe that there have to be Smurfs watching. Suke, where we transliterate into English, where we get psyche or psychology, but it's in the Greek, it's suke. It doesn't mean soul. It means life. There are like three or how would we connote, or rather, how would we denote suke? Let me get back to that. Zoe is often related to that life that is everlasting, okay? And then there's bios, which is more of a physical life, and then there's zoos or zoology. I can't remember what the exact root, but bios, right? Bio is life. Psyche is life. Bios is life. Zoe is life. And zoos, I can't remember, like I said. Zoology, that's another, there's 4 different words that I can think of that mean life, but they're all different connotations of our physiology, like heart, soul, mind, strength. So they all have different nuances. And so the way I was thinking about it once before was like, I can't get it back, you know. But suke has to do with like I wanted to go into the word spiritual. The suke has this inner awareness, like this inner awareness that's alive, right? And then we can go and talk about the nous, the mind, noetics. Then we get into belief and knowledge, pistis and gnosis. And we have this goddamn unfortunate fact that I've got 5 Smurfs listening to the sultry sound of my voice, and there's only one Fonzarelli. You guys making me strain my vocal cords. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for being here. If you're listening to the sultry sound of my voice, smash that Fonzarelli. Thank you. I see another one. 2. We've got 2. Okay? You know what I mean? Like, all of this, like, we are so dynamic. I won't say complex. We are so dynamic as human beings. Just a segue into a biblical concept, right? When we get into the animal kingdom in Genesis chapter 2, the animals are referred to as nephesh, which is translated as soul. But that word nephesh is also applicable to humanity. And the same thing in the New Testament. Suke is translated most often in the English as soul. But what is that? What is that? What does that mean? What does that even mean? Like you just identified it. But think back to what I said. I don't know. What did I say? I've got to recollect what I said. Recollect. What did I say suke meant? Suke was like awareness, this inner awareness, right? That's a little bit more, I think, that's a little less abstract than soul. Like, what does that mean? What does soul mean? Because it's just like suke is a word. I don't know what is suke? Soul? Well, what is that? So you have to know what each word means, right? So inner awareness, is that what soul means? Your inner awareness? Thanks for the thumbs up, everybody. I see that. I appreciate that on your way in, and if you forget, on your way out. But I'm driving along, and the limitation of my vision is due to the height of these trees. But then what do I make of the sky above that, right? That's not where you know what I mean? Like, so if we look out into the distance and it's miles and miles away, like you're seeing into the distance in your viewfinder right now, like as you're looking down this road, you can see the distant trees are smaller in that convergence point, right? But we see the sky at the top of those trees, and then we also see the sky at the top of the trees that are right next to us in our proximity. But that's not the limitation of the expanse. That's not where the earth ends, ever. It just keeps going. Like, if you look out into the horizon, you are looking at infinity. I don't know if you've ever thought about that. Because it just continues to go and go and go and go and go, and it just keeps going. And you can only see so far into that going. You can only see so far into that. You're on the ocean. You're in a boat. You can sustain your life for, many, many, many months, right? Welcome to North Carolina, everybody. Okay, you're on a yacht. You're playing Steely Dan. You're playing Christopher Cross, Rupert Holmes, Jimmy Buffett. Okay. So you're looking out to the horizon. What is that? That's infinity. That's eternity. Oh, no, that's where the earth curves. No. Who told you that? Who showed you that? And when they explained it to you, why did you not walk away? Because it's no different than saying that the earth curves right here past these trees, because that's where the sky and the earth meet. But that's what happens out in the distance. But that's not where the earth ends. So your first person perspective demonstrates that the earth is just an extension of area and space over. You get whoever's responsible for the fact that the sultry sound of my voice just got from being live sitting next to me right now. That person is fired. Ridiculous. Heads are going to roll. Okay, if you're listening to the sultry sound of my voice, thanks so much. But if you're still listening at this point, please hit that Fonzarelli. Please jump into the chat, say hi to each other, introduce yourselves, start a community, right? Oh, I don't want to listen to Travis talk. So start a conversation in the chat and then turn down my volume. I'm sorry that I can't read your comments while while I'm driving. It sure would be interesting and nice if, by golly, someone would listen to my idea about creating an application where, when I'm not talking during my live stream, so if in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, if I stop talking for a set amount of time in this application, then the application is going to be triggered to read the last place that it was reading from in the chat, both in my ears and in the audience, because I'm not talking after all, right? So then it reads the chat for me so I can hear what you're saying, because like I'm saying right now, I can't read. I think someone asked me a question about perspective. I don't know what you said because I can't read the chat. But this application could read that chat, read that comment for me in real time. And then I could maybe, anyway, but that doesn't exist. That function doesn't exist. And it would revolutionize the podcasting world, that I've been saying it for over 8 months. And it still doesn't exist. But it should. And I've mentioned it to people and I've talked to people, and it's just the same thing as when I had my idea about the piggy pack, told everybody that I knew and was so excited about this idea, and no one gave a shit. I just didn't understand. But it's a brilliant concept, and whether it was collective consciousness or whether it was someone else stealing my idea, it exists now, and I can no longer claim it as my own. But I thought of that concept nearly 20 years ago. And when I told people about it, they were like, a lot of people gave me negative feedback. Oh, it's too dangerous. It's not safe. I'm like, okay, that's fine for you. But there's plenty of people out there that are like me that aren't going to be Nancy's like you. These little pansies who are afraid that their children are going to get hurt or whatever. But the basic idea for the piggy pack came from the fact that I had 3 young boys at the time. And whenever we went for a family trip or whatever, and I would give one a piggyback ride, the next one would want a piggyback ride. And by the time I got done giving all 3 a ride, my arms were tired and they had been occupied that whole time by holding onto the weight of my children. So when I was a truck driver, I had nothing to do but think while I was driving. And so I was trying to problem solve and think, what could I do about that piggyback situation? And I'm like, well, what if you could create a backpack that just had a step on it, and then you could squat down wearing that backpack, and then the child would just hold onto your shoulders like it does in a piggyback ride, and then just step up onto the step. And then you stand up and the child rises with you. That's no different. That's the exact same thing. The child is actually a little bit higher. The child should be able to see over your head, which would be very, very fun for that child, right? Oh, Travis, aren't you afraid to look? No, my children never fell off. My children never fell off whenever I carried them that way. And then when I was like, oh, nobody's supporting me, I guess I might as well just see what's up with the patent. This is just at the, early years of the internet. It was probably Ask Jeeves back then, not Google yet. Where do you go? You just look online. It's like, how many fucking patent.com places do I have to go through, to understand? I had no idea. So I called one of them up. No one, no different than the other. I just called one of them, I've got an idea about a patent. Can you tell me how much it costs? Oh, what's your idea? Huh? No. I just want to know how much it costs to get a patent. Right. What's your idea? Like, why would I tell you my idea? You just want me to, I don't know who you are. I don't even know if this is a real business. You want me to tell you my idea and then you take my idea and you get a patent for it? No, I'm not doing that. But that's all I could figure out to do. No one would give you an idea about how much the patent was going to cost until they knew what your idea, because then they could quantify it, so to speak. Oh, that's worth this much money, or this is how much your patent's going to be. Because it's, I don't know, if it's different if it's in the field of agriculture or in the field of entertainment, what's your idea, But anyway, I was just thinking about infinity and eternity. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. I mean, it's just a logical deduction, right? It's simply because it's farther away doesn't mean that the principles of logic don't apply. If you can't say that these trees are the ends of the earth right now and everything starts to curve away at that point because they're too close to you, no, that's not the way it works, Travis. Well, then when you're looking into the distance and you're seeing those distant trees or that distant land that's at that highest elevation, miles and miles away, 20 some odd miles away, then that's not where the earth starts curving either. That's as simple as it gets. That ought to be a meme. You cut the meme in half, you have a close-up and say, if this isn't where the earth curve begins, then neither is this. Because it's the same thing, only closer to you. That's pretty daggone clear to me. So then you should never think, oh, look at that distant land over the curve. That's never going to come out of your mouth. It's never going to be in your mind. Nobody would have ever thought that. It's redonkulous. But I was on Iron Realm Media this morning, and I had a couple of interesting ideas. I'm going to see if I can get them back, but one of them was an antiquated term. What is it out there in the audience? What would you call those streaming services? We call them streaming services, right? So why wouldn't they be streaming series? Well, anyway, an idea that I have is that you have an elite member, an aristocrat. We don't have aristocrats per se here in the United States, but we have socialites, right? People are always so goddamn filthy rich. Like, whether or not it's new money, I don't know, but it's that level. Like, you have so much money, it doesn't, like, you could lose, or you could wreck your Bentley and it's like crashing a Corolla, whatever. Go get another one. But one of those players comes to an awareness that his existence has been fabricated and he wasn't even a part of the story. Like, he didn't even know. Like, they didn't start him out. Like, there's a song called, I think it's called System Protest. I can't remember if the song and the artist are the same title, but anyway, System Protest. Oh, no, that's right. Yeah. The name of the artist is System Protest, and the name of the song is called The Game. And basically, it's all Crow 777 audio samples of things that Crow has said. And one of the things that he says is he says that they don't explain the rules of the game to us. The rulers are the only ones who not only know that there's a game, but they know the rules. So even if I'm woke and think, oh, this is a game, I'm still not in the know because I don't know what the rules are. So then this aristocrat, bourgeois, socialite wakes up and begins to exhibit signs of awareness and being conscientious of morality and ethics. And he sees the culture that he's grown up in, and he sees the culture of the world, and he sees the haves and he sees the have-nots. And then he becomes something of a Mother Teresa figure where he goes out and he just sacrifices himself for other people. He puts other people first. Like, that would be an amazing series. Like, think about if you even did that in reality. Start your own YouTube channel and then believe that the universe is your awareness and you are the universe and you are therefore Jesus and the Father and the Spirit. You know, these are all expressions of the divine. Because what else does Jesus mean? You know, when he says, consider the lilies of the field. They don't toil, they don't spin, they don't loom, they don't make clothing for themselves. And yet your heavenly Father has clothed them with glory. Consider the sparrows and consider the birds of the air. They don't worry about planting and reaping. And they trust, right? They just believe. They just exist. And so then that is a call to you and to me to simply believe that we will be provided for. We will have everything that we need. Everything. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all of these things shall be added unto you. Right? Seek first the kingdom of righteousness. Well, what is that? What is righteousness? It has to have society, right? If I'm the only one in existence, I have no conflict, right? There's no conflict. I don't know what my inner mindset would be, you know, whether or not I have a ego, I suppose, whether or not, I don't know. But all that aside, I'm the only person. So I'm not going to have to be righteous because I don't have to behave properly with anyone but myself, right? So I can't steal from myself, I suppose, right? I have 10 apples on the shelf. If I eat one, have I stolen one from myself? No, that's mine. So I would need another person who has apples and I don't. And if I take from him, that's unrighteousness, right? So you get what I'm saying? Righteousness requires community. So what is this kingdom of righteousness? Seek you first seek ye first the kingdom of God. Like, I don't even think God is a biblical concept. I know what theos, I know what we're told theos means, I know. But theos is translated back into the Hebrew to another word that doesn't mean what theos means. They're two different words that get translated the same in English, God. But neither of those words mean God. Everything you know about the Bible has been interpreted and presented to you. No one out there listening to the sultry sound of my voice right now has any original idea or understanding, as if no one ever said it. Everything that you think the Bible says, somebody else already told you. And then if you keep reading the Bible and you get to a place that you've not read before, you're going to read it according to how you were told the Bible was. So you have been controlled to read the Bible and understand its story in a particular way. And my only question to you is, have you really stopped? Set aside your preconditioned mindset and let the text tell you what it's saying. What I might do right now is see if I can play some true solfeggio and see if you guys can hear it, because I'm just going to kind of like sit back and meditate a little bit, I suppose. So here we go. Hey, if you can hear my voice and you can hear the music, let me know what it sounds like. If it sounds like shit, I'll just turn it off, but I'm not going to be talking right now. Hey, you, one Smurf, can you hear this music and does it sound like shit? Although I do have my headphones in the back, but I mean my microphone's in the back, I think. I kept them here. I didn't think about that until just now, so maybe I'll find a station to pull over in and take a break real quick and then come back. So I haven't gotten a response, and it says that there's one Smurf watching. So is there a Smurf watching? And if you can hear the music, please let me know if it sounds terrible. Or can you hear the music? Can you hear it, first of all? Yes, no. If you can hear it, does it sound like shit? I'm gonna go to a Walmart or someplace to get my favorite new sparkling water. It's called, what is it called? Topo Pico or something like that. I love it. Delicioso. Still not getting a response from you guys. Can you guys hear the music, please? Please tell me if you can hear the music or not. And if you're still here, can you please hit the Fonzarelli? And if you're still here, can you please make comments in the chat? Unless you are, and I just can't see them, which is kind of weird. I see comments every once in a while, but then I think that's because they were just made right then. Maybe it's not showing me the chat. Exit 95 seems to be a big exit, a big to-do. Exit 95. Got Soupy Skies here, Soupy Skies. Yeah, I mean, I might even be missing your comments, so I apologize if I'm harassing you. Big Boys Travel Center. Oh, I'll try that one. Was that 121? Bag, we're at 155. Why are they giving me like, 50 miles of advance notice? Come on, you guys. There's 4 of you and you guys aren't chatting? Why don't you guys talk to each other? I wish I could roll down my window, but then again, you guys wouldn't be able to hear me or whatever, but I want to feel the fresh air, but my window mechanism is broken since I got sideswiped by a doe, a deer, a female deer. Obey Jesus' teaching. Genuine Christians obey Jesus' teaching. Like all of them? You sure about that? Don't get me started, right? Am I right? So you wash people's feet. You take up your cross. You die daily. Oh, no, not perfect. That's not what this is. You said real Christians obey. So what else is there? Like, how much do you have to obey, right? What makes you, like, you know what I mean? Like, think about that. Real Christian, how much? Obey how much? 10% of the time? 20%? Do you obey Jesus 100% of the time? Well, no. So then I could be better than you? Well, yeah, but that's not the way you're supposed to. No. But see that you're creating that mindset. You're creating that competition. Because you're telling me that a real Christian will obey Jesus. How much? How often? How long? Man, all you got to do is just think. Think for your goddamn self. I mean, my God, I raised my children that way. That's what I raised my children to be. These judgmental fucking little Christians. And they're doing a bang-up job because now I'm the one that's on the outside with them, right? They've judged me. They've ruled against me. And that's just the way it is, right? I have no children. Like, there's no reason for me to ever know anything about them anymore. Why? Because they're strangers. Like, they would just be like you on the side. Like, I'm not saying that you're not important. But I'm saying as my children, they aren't my children anymore. If I met one of my children, I broke down and cried last month because I thought that if I saw my daughter in the store, I probably wouldn't even recognize her because it's been over 2 years since I've seen her. And she, I can remember what she looks like as a little girl, as a little child, And I mean, I can kind of see her in my mind right now as a teenager. But she doesn't look, but when she was, my memory of her as a teenager, she doesn't look like her childhood picture, right? So she's always changing, just like I am, you know what I mean? I just had to get my license renewed. And I look the same, but I don't. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens this weekend going up here to the flat stock. Tommy is just amazing. His ability to host this gathering is just going to be like epic. I was talking about, that's what I was doing before. I was talking about karaoke. And there's going to be other sessions of education and information on, bug out bags. And I'm sure other health related awareness. So it's just going to be amazing. They're just great conversations, I'm hoping. And, just a truly collective conscious experience. It's got me all chill watching, and there's no conversation going on in the chat. What are you guys doing? Are you taking notes on what I'm saying? What's occupying your time while you're listening to just me meander around in my cerebral vortex? I just don't get it, you know what I mean? The only reason why I would be listening to someone like me is if I really had a lot of appreciation for anything that's going to be coming out of his mouth. And I can't think of anybody really that I would listen to for this long, unless I had a deep appreciation for him. But as long as as long as I make sense, because that's what turns me off to a lot of these influencers. It's like they get to the point in their description of their existence that I just don't feel a connection with them. I'm like, I don't feel like we're on the same page. But every once in a while I can find things that I like about what they say. But I'm going to need to get something to drink. I'm feeling very, very dry. Hey, see, there's some chats right there. There's some comments right there that just went by, so appreciate that. If you guys are now, if you haven't hit that Fonzarelli, please smash that like. We are now listening to Golden Crown by Conspiracy Music Guru. Golden Crown is the opening track of the fantastic concept album True Solfeggio. The album has 7 tracks, and each of the tracks relates to each of the chakra energies. Golden Crown is the top of your head. The next song is called Journey to the Third, which is a reference to the pineal gland. And then there is the next song, which is Journey to the Third. Oh my gosh, what's the third song? I know, Lump in My Throat. Okay, the energy of the throat. And then Heart. And then Solar Rising. And then Sacral Times. And then Rooting. Right? The root chakra. So 7 chakras, 7 songs. And each of these songs is so amazing and so beautiful. I listen to this on repeat on a daily basis, and I get so lost in the sauce that there are times when if I hear this song, I won't know which song it is, because they're all so, I don't even know how to say it, just like this, even though they have structure and they have their own melodies and whatnot, to me it's not like recognizing Pour Some Sugar on Me, right? Like that doesn't sound like Wanted Dead or Alive, you know? But for me, whenever I listen to these songs, if you just dropped me in the middle and started playing one of these songs, I wouldn't know which one it was, because I would have to listen for such an extended period of time. I would want to hear certain cues that I have identified with those songs. Each of these songs has such intricate nuances that I didn't even hear, and I still can't hear it when I listen to it in the external speaker, unless you have it turned up very, very loud. And so I listened to this album for years just over my car stereo or an external speaker, and it wasn't until for the very first time I put headphones in that I heard this one little tone that just blew me away, because I'd never heard it before, because I had just heard the song in its purity in my understanding, but in my listening to it, I couldn't hear that tone until I put headphones on. And now every single time that song plays, I'm listening for that moment. I know when it's coming. I listen for that cue. And like each of these songs has one of, or many of those kinds of Easter eggs. But I think if the reality sinks in for anybody, to be completely honest, when you pray, you are the only awareness that is aware that you're praying. You have no evidence that there is a separate entity completely distinct from you, so that you don't know what that thing is thinking, but it knows what you're thinking. How do you know that? Well, I don't have to pray out loud. I don't have to speak words. I just pray with my heart. Is that Morse code? Like, how do you pray with your heart? What does that mean? How does this thing hear you? So, the only thing you have, I'm just saying, like, I'm sorry I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you. The only thing you can say that ever hears you when you talk to yourself is you. You're talking to yourself all the time, especially when you're praying. So why address any other creature? Just talk to yourself. Because that's what praying is, right? It's just like being in a courtroom situation, okay? If you're in a courtroom situation, why don't you just defend yourself? Because all you're going to be doing is saying the same thing if you were defending yourself, but you are now telling it to a lawyer who's going to then stand up and then have to then reduplicate what you said, because after all, it's the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, right? Just get rid of the fucking lawyer and you say what reality is. That's the same thing as praying. Why talk to God? You're the one that's going to have to change your behavior anyway. God's not going to do it for you. I asked God to do things for me all the time that had to do with me wanting to be a better person, a better man. Help me stop doing this. Nothing, no help, zero. It's always your decision at that moment. No one else is going to make that decision for you. No one else is going to give you an impetus in one direction or another. You have two awarenesses within you. One is a low vibration, negative frequency, and the other one is a high vibration, positive frequency. Your conscious and your subconscious. The subconscious is your dark passenger, that thing that fights against your ambition. And if you don't have that, well, then I would surely like to shake your hand, because I can't imagine anyone who doesn't have some level of a dark passenger where you have thoughts that you would rather not have. I mean, seriously, if you do not have a dark passenger, you are on another level. You've eradicated your ego. Because your ego is that which divides and severs your existence among other existences. Your ego prevents you from putting other people before yourself, which you should do all the time. And when you don't do it, then your ego is winning. Your dark passenger is winning. If you have it within, your capacity to meet the needs of another person and you don't, that is your ego, because you should just be giving everything away. If you have it. If you can't provide, let's say for instance, you can't pay for someone to change their spark plugs, but you know how to change spark plugs, well, then you can do that, right? But if you don't even do that, if you decide not to, that's your ego. I really need something to drink. Maybe I'll find a grocery store and get some victuals and libations. Honestly, I mean, whoever's listening, thanks for being there. Thank you. If you haven't hit that like, please smash that Fonzarelli. And if you haven't made a comment, please make a comment in the chat. Or if you find this later on in life and you're listening now into the future, and this only qualifies for anyone in the future within a month of this time, it's got to be a month away maybe. You can't be sly and say, oh, it's 3 days later and I remember what Travis said. No, you have to hear it in the future for the first time. And I'll just have to take your word for it. But contact me and I'll pay you $25 if you've listened up to this point in the podcast, because you're a trooper. And if I'm still alive and have the ability to pay you that $25, I will pay you that $25. But you can't be listening right now. You have to be a completely brand new listener to that episode in the future. All right, I think I'm probably going to wrap this up. My voice is tired, so this has been another exciting adventure of Piensamientos de Viejo. I'm your host, Travis Finley. Until next time.